Hi, fourth graders, Mrs. Nelson here. We are going to be looking at area, perimeter, and multiples. So everybody starts off group 1, so welcome group 1. And I will have this printed out for you. You will be working on this. Everybody starts at group 1. When we're done with this, filling it out, doing it together. So when I write, you write. Then you move on and do your independent work. You'll grab group 1 work and turn it in your red pouch. Alright, so let's get started, shall we? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at finding area and perimeter. So we have to find the area and we also have to find the perimeter here. Okay, so we have the area and the perimeter. Finding both. Now, as you guys have been working through Zearn, you know that finding the area means you have to tile. You have to find out how many squares make up the inside of this rectangle right here. How many squares make up the rectangle? Okay, so if you're looking at this, you know, without even tiling it, you know that there's going to be 8 going this way, so 8 rows, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 4 going this way. You'll have 4 rows, 8 going this way. I'm not going to fill them all in because that isn't the actual example. So we're going to look at finding the area without tiling the whole thing. We're looking at it abstractly, meaning we're going to think about just the numbers only. So area means you have to multiply length times width. So your length usually runs this direction. That's your length. And your width runs from top to bottom, side to side. So that's your width. So you have length times width. Make sure you write that down because that's the area, that's the formula. Formula means the way that you write an expression, an equation. So my length on this guy is going to be 8 length times width. So it'll be length 4 times width, which is 8. Okay, length times width. And you know that 4 times 8, well then 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 16 is 32. So you know that 4 times 8 is 32. Okay, now the perimeter on this guy is you add up all of the sides. So if you notice then on here, you're thinking, well, Mrs. Nelson, all the sides are not filled in. You're right, they aren't. However, you know that this side is going to be 4 and this side is going to be 4. So you have 4 on this side and 8 on this side. You already know that. You don't have to fill it in so that you know that 8 plus 8 and then 4 plus 4 equals 8 and 8 plus 8 equals 16 and 16 plus 8. 16 plus 8 is going to be 8 plus 6 more. So you go 8 plus 2 more is going to be 14. Carry the 1, so 24. So your perimeter here is going to be, this will be 32 and this will be 24. So 32 and 24. Okay? So that's how you find the area of a rectangle. Now we're going to find the area and perimeter of a square. Now a square is only just a very special rectangle. A square and a rectangle are the same. The square happens to be a very special rectangle where all the sides are the same. So if you look, you will see that 4 is the same as here, which is the same as here, because all of your sides are the same on a square. So you already know that you have 4 times. So if you're doing area, you have 4 times 4, because you're doing length, which is this way, length, and this is width right there. Length, width, okay? Length times width, and that's going to be 16. So your area is 16. Your perimeter is 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Okay, which again on this guy, if you had 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 is going to be 16. In this case, area and perimeter are the same. They aren't always. So now we're going to be looking at area and perimeter again on a different rectangle. Okay, so when we look at this, remember, we're going to go length, which is 8, and then width, which is 7. Length times width. So 8 times 7, you have to figure that out and move on, okay? So the answer to 8 times 7 is going to be 50. So you know that the answer to 8 times 7 is going to be 56. So your answer is 56. Perimeter. Remember, you're going to be adding up all the sides. So you know that 8 will go over on this side and 7 will go over on this side. You add all the sides up when you are finding perimeter. You multiply 2 sides when you multiply. Okay, so you go 8 plus 8 equals 16. And then you go 7 plus 7 equals 14. Add those two together. Carry the 1. 4 plus 6 is 10. Carry the 1. So 30. So your perimeter is 30. Okay. Moving on, we're going to look at the square, which is a very special rectangle. So you already know that the length and width are the same on here because 3 is going to be the same no matter what. So you know that length side to side, is going to be 3. Width is top to bottom on the page, so that'll be 3. So the area is going to be 9. That's your area. Now the perimeter is going to be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, 4. So 3 4 times 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. So 4 times is, the perimeter is 12. Now, this one is not the same. Okay? Alright, we're moving on. Alright, so I'm going to work on multiples. Multiples are not difficult. Multiples are, if they're saying, what are the first 6 multiples of 40, you're saying, well, I'm going to skip count basically by 40. So I'm going to ask myself, what's 40 times 1? What's 40 times 2? What's 40 times 3? What's 40 times 5? What's 40 times 6? Those are the first 6 multiples. So basically what you're doing is skip counting all the way through. So if you say, well, what's 40 times 1? Well, that you know that that's 40. 80, because 40 times 2 is 80. 4 times 2 is 8. Add the 0. 40, 80, 120. Okay. 40 times, so that's 40 times 3. 40 times 4 is 160, because 4 times 4 is 16. Add the 0 to the end. So 16, so 4, 8, 12, 16, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 200 is 5. And then the next multiple for 4 times 6 is going to be 240, because 4 times 6 is 24. Add the 0, because you know that 4 times this number is going to be 4, and then you just add that 0 on over here, because that means it's 10 times bigger. Alright, so when you're looking at 64, you're basically going to be saying, well, I know that 64 times 1 is 64. 64 times 2, well, if you add 64 times 2, you're going to get 128. Okay, and then you're going to get 129, or excuse me, 192. Got that mixed up. 192, so you're taking 64 times 4. Well, you know that 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 60 is 240. Add those two up. That'll give you the answer. So then you would end up with the answer of 256. Okay, so then that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we need 2 more. 64 times 5, which would be 64 plus 64 plus 64 plus 64 plus 64 plus 64 5 times, which would then give you the answer of 320. Okay, and then 64 times 6, well, 6 times 6 is 360. 6 times 60 is 360. So 360 plus the 24, because 6 times 4 is going to be 348. So there you go. That's how you find the first 6 multiples of those numbers. You skip count by the number that you're given right here. You skip count by these guys. You just skip count. Okay? So, if it's a multiple of 0, well, there is no multiples. So the first 6 multiples of 0 are 0. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 0 is 3. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. 0 times 6 is 0. So 0, 0, 0, 0. The first 6 multiples of 0 are always going to be 0. That's it. All right. Questions? Concerns? Please let me know. And when you're done with this, turn it in with your daily work, which is Group 1 work. If you have questions on how to do this, let a classmate know. Let me know. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.